man next door has sold his property, and he sold it to a guy who has a lot of money who bought the property. And 2 years ago, this guy's from the city. He starts tearing up the land over there, and bulldozers, backhoe, everything, and all the greenery is about gone. There's 3 houses built over there. There's an airplane hangar. There's an airplane runway. Well, my son was at a local store down the street, and this guy pulled in and they had some machinery. And my son said, "Man, this looked like you could go do some work." And they're pumping gas. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, we've been busy here for the past year." He said, "Really, it's right down the road here." And my son said, "Hey, are y'all down here on so-and-so's old place?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, we're the farm next door to you. We hunt there." And the guy's eyes got real big. And he looked and he said, "Let me ask you something." And my son said, "What's wrong?" He goes, he looks left and he looks right. And he goes, "You ever heard of Bigfoot?" And my son starts laughing. And he said, "I already know." And the guy said, "What?" He goes, "You don't have to say anymore." He said, "I already know." He said, "I saw it." And the guy said, "Oh my God." He said, "You've seen it." He goes, "Let me tell you." He said, "Last week," he said, "I've got all my workers there." And he said, I've got one or two that can speak good English." And he said, "We're all getting ready to go to work." And he said, "It's hot. It's summertime, so we come in early." And he said, "It's fixing to get daylight. Everybody's getting their stuff together there on the farm. And this thing lets out a loud scream." Well, he said, "All my guys just dropped what they're doing." And he said, "I get on my side by side and I ride up there where I saw it." And he said, "As I look across, there's something standing there at the tree line and it's looking at me. I'm looking at it, and it turns and it walks right into the tree line." And he said, "I know what I saw." And he said, "Now my guys won't come in till 7 o'clock in the morning. They don't come in at 6 because they're scared. They're scared." He said it scared them bad. And he said, one of them has told me that he has been screamed and growled at while he was working by himself. He said, "So I don't know what it is, or what." He said, "Well, I'll tell you what." He goes, "You've tore its home up." He said, "They never allowed any hunting over there. I guess this thing felt safe. It's never bothered with us. I guess with us leaving I guess when we leave the field dress, maybe that was a gift. They knew if they left us alone, when we got a deer, they could have the liver, the heart, stuff that we didn't take. So maybe that was the reason it never bothered us." So this year, this past turkey season, we found some tracks, and this thing has moved on further down at another farm, which backs up to ours. And while my son was turkey hunting, they come across some big tracks, and he said, "That's where this thing is now." He said, "You couldn't get a dog to make it through the field. It is so thick." He said, "I mean, thick, thick." And he said, "Only way I can get down there to go over is by the creek." And he said, "When I'm walking the creek, I see these footprints." And he said, "I look at the guys with me." He said, "I don't know what that is." He said, "I know what it is." He said, "I'm not going any further." So my son turned around and went back. And so this thing has moved on. I think it's a family, because I've heard the man down the road found some tracks when it snowed here. That it was, he said he went out to get his mail, and it had just snowed that night. And when he went to get his mail, he saw these tracks coming from the woods, going across the road into his yard. And he said it looked like it was 2 adults and a juvenile. And he said the 2 adults went the right side of his house, went around, and the juvenile went the left. And he said they both joined back up after they got past the house and went off into the woods. And he wasn't going to go, look and find out what it is, but he did take some good pictures. Really, he put a $20 bill down right beside the foot, just to show how big this thing, the feet was on this. But I've always thought that it had to be a family of them. It just, I mean, I just had a feeling. And the only other thing I've ever had is happen. My son got a real nice buck, and it was right at dusk. And I went to get the truck, same field that I bush hogged. And I went up to get to the truck. When I got out of that field and started on that logging road, I smelled, it smelled bad. It's a nasty smell. And I had a feeling of don't look left, don't look right, go get your truck and go do what you do. I just had a feeling I did not want to look left or right. It smelled, and I thought coyote, because coyotes, they smell. And but this was horrible smell. And so I just kept my head to the ground, and I got to the truck. I got in the truck and I went down and got my son's deer. And afterwards I told him, I said, you know what? I said, well, I got basically on that same part of Logan Road that y'all had that sighting back in 2010. I said, something smelled horrible. And I said, I felt like, okay, keep going. Don't stop. Don't look to the left. Don't look to the right. Just keep going and get in your truck and go get the deer. It was a strong feeling of that. That was, a couple of years ago. Other than the footprints that they saw back in the turkey season here, which is the very back of the farm, we haven't had anything else happen. I imagine it's still there. It's just had to relocate since this guy's bought the farm, and they're still doing stuff over there, still tearing up that land. And it's. I just wanted to know that it ain't us.